Picture this, Greece, around the 8th century BCE. Things are changing, the landscape is shifting, and a new dawn is breaking over the ancient ruins. The Dark Ages are fading, a period marked by obscurity and decline is coming to an end. Out of the shadows, a new era emerges, the Archaic Period. This is a time of transformation and renewal. It's a time of rebirth, innovation, and the seeds of democracy. The marketplace buzzes with activity, and new ideas are taking root. Imagine a world where ideas are debated passionately, art flourishes in unprecedented ways, and the Olympic Games are born, bringing people together in the spirit of competition and unity. Hold on to your togas, folks, because we're about to dive into one of the most exciting chapters in human history. The Archaic Period of ancient Greece is a time of incredible change and progress. The Dark Ages were, well, dark, a time shrouded in mystery and uncertainty. We don't have a lot of written records from that time. Much of what we know is pieced together from fragments and artifacts. But we know that Greece was in a period of decline. Cities were abandoned, and the once thriving civilization seemed to be fading away. People forgot how to write. The art of literacy was lost, and with it, much of their history and culture. But then, something amazing happened. A spark of curiosity and determination reignited the Greek spirit. The Greeks rediscovered their past. They began to unearth the knowledge and wisdom of their ancestors. They started writing again, using an alphabet they borrowed from the Phoenicians. This new script allowed them to record their thoughts, stories, and discoveries. They began to trade with other civilizations, exchanging goods, ideas, and culture. This interaction brought new perspectives and opportunities, and slowly but surely, Greece emerged from the darkness. The Archaic Period marked the beginning of a new chapter in Greek history. The Greeks developed new forms of government, new ways of thinking, and new ways of expressing themselves. They were laying the foundations for democracy and philosophy. They were laying the groundwork for the incredible achievements of the classical period. Their inquiries and discoveries would shape the future of Western thought. So buckle up, because we're about to explore the rise of the city-states, polis, of Archaic Period in all its glory. We'll explore the bustling marketplaces of Athens where commerce and conversation thrived, and the rigorous training grounds of Sparta where discipline and strength were paramount. We'll see how a small group of people on a peninsula in the Mediterranean Sea changed the world forever. Their influence reached far and wide, leaving a lasting legacy. Get ready for an adventure. The story of Greece's awakening is one of resilience, creativity, and enduring impact. Forget sprawling empires, the Greeks did things differently. Their world revolved around the polis, the city-state. Think of it as a mini-country. Each polis had its own government, laws, and identity. It was like a little universe unto itself. Imagine a city with its surrounding countryside, that's your polis. And it was the foundation of Greek civilization. It wasn't just a place to live, it was a community. Citizens were deeply connected to their polis. They fought for it, debated its laws, and celebrated its festivals. The polis fostered a sense of belonging and civic duty. It was like being part of a giant, extended family. Sometimes a dysfunctional one, but a family nonetheless. Let's take a look at some famous examples. Athens, the birthplace of democracy, was a bustling center of trade and culture. Sparta, on the other hand, was all about military might and discipline. And then there was Corinth, known for its strategic location and its, shall we say, enterprising citizens. Each polis had its own personality, its own strengths, and its own quirks. The rise of the polis had a profound impact on Greek civilization. It fostered competition, innovation, and a sense of independence. The Greeks were fiercely proud of their individual polis, but they also recognized their shared heritage and language. This delicate balance between unity and diversity would shape Greek history for centuries to come. The intellectual and cultural achievements of these city-states were remarkable. From philosophy and art to architecture and science, the contributions of the Greek polis were immense. Even the Olympic Games, a symbol of unity and competition, originated from this unique structure of city-states. The legacy of the polis is still evident today, influencing modern concepts of citizenship and community. So, next time you think of ancient Greece, remember it wasn't just about grand empires, but about these vibrant, independent city-states that laid the groundwork for Western civilization. Welcome to Athens, the cradle of democracy. Forget kings and emperors. In Athens, the people ruled. Well, sort of. It was more complicated than that. But the point is, Athens gave us a radical new idea, that ordinary citizens could have a say in how they were governed. Mind-blowing, right? Imagine a city buzzing with activity. That's Athens, the cultural and intellectual heart of Greece. Its streets were thronged with philosophers, poets, and politicians. The air crackled with debate and discussion. And at the heart of it all was the agora, the marketplace and meeting place. It was like a giant open-air forum where Athenians came to buy, sell, gossip, and argue about politics. Athenian democracy wasn't perfect. Only male citizens could vote. Women, slaves, and foreigners were excluded. But it was a revolutionary experiment in self-government, and it laid the foundation for the democratic ideals that we cherish today. From the Acropolis, the rocky hill that dominated the city, to the bustling port of Piraeus, Athens pulsed with energy and innovation. It was a city that embraced new ideas and challenged the status quo. It was a city that dared to imagine a different kind of world, a world where the people held the power. Sparta warriors honor and black broth. Hold on to your helmets, folks, because we're heading to Sparta. Forget democracy and philosophy. Sparta was all about one thing: war. Their entire society was structured around creating the perfect soldier. From the moment they were born, Spartan boys were trained to be warriors. Their upbringing was harsh and unyielding. They lived and breathed combat. Every aspect of their lives was designed to make them stronger and more resilient. They were the ultimate fighting force of the ancient world. Their reputation for fearlessness and skill in battle was unmatched, and they even had the food to prove it. Spartan cuisine was as austere as their lifestyle. Imagine a society where physical strength and military prowess were prized above all else. Weakness was not tolerated. That was Sparta, a city-state in southern Greece. It was a place where every citizen was expected to contribute to the military might. The Spartans believed in a simple philosophy: live by the sword, die by the sword. Their lives were dedicated to the art of war. Spartan boys began their military training at the tender age of 7. This was the beginning of their journey to becoming elite warriors. They were taken from their families and enrolled in the agoge, a brutal training system that emphasized discipline, obedience, and endurance. It was a rite of passage. They learned to fight, to endure pain, and to survive on the bare minimum. This training was designed to weed out the weak, and if they were lucky, they got to eat some black broth, a Spartan delicacy made from boiled pig's blood and vinegar. Bon appetit. This was a true test of their endurance. Sparta might sound harsh, and it was, but this harshness forged some of the most formidable warriors in history. But it was also a society that valued courage, loyalty, and self-sacrifice. These values were instilled from a young age. Their training and lifestyle made them legends. Their tactics and ferocity were feared by their enemies. And their society, though alien to our modern sensibilities, offers a fascinating glimpse into a different way of life. A life where honor and duty were paramount. Tyrants. Not always bad. Tyrants. The word alone sends shivers down our spines. But in ancient Greece, tyrants weren't always the bad guys. Sure, they seized power illegally, but sometimes, just sometimes, they actually made things better. Imagine that. Let's get one thing straight. Tyrants weren't elected. They were rulers who grabbed power by force, often by exploiting social unrest or political instability. They weren't exactly known for their respect for the law or the rights of their citizens, but here's the twist. Some tyrants were surprisingly popular. How is that possible, you ask? Well, some tyrants, like Pisistratus in Athens, were shrewd politicians. They implemented reforms that benefited the common people. They invested in public works, promoted trade, and supported the arts. They knew that a happy populace was less likely to rebel. Of course, not all tyrants were benevolent reformers. Many were cruel and oppressive. But the idea that a tyrant could actually be a force for good might seem like a paradox. It just goes to show that history is full of surprises, and that sometimes even the most unlikely candidates can bring about positive change. Setting sail trade, colonies, and cultural exchange, land ahoy! The Greeks weren't content to stay put in their little corner of the Mediterranean. They were explorers, traders, and yes, sometimes even pirates. They sailed the seas, establishing colonies and spreading their culture far and wide. Think of it as ancient globalization, Greek style. Imagine a world without cars, trains, or planes. How did people get around back then? By sea, of course. The Greeks were skilled sailors and shipbuilders. They sailed the Aegean Sea, the Black Sea, and even ventured as far as the Western Mediterranean. They were looking for new lands to settle, new markets to trade in, and maybe even a little adventure along the way. Wherever they went, the Greeks established colonies. These weren't just military outposts, they were thriving cities in their own right. They became centers of trade and cultural exchange, linking Greece to the wider world. From Spain to Egypt, the Greeks spread their language, their ideas, and their love of olive oil. This era of exploration and colonization had a profound impact on Greek civilization. It brought wealth, new ideas, and contact with other cultures. It broadened their horizons and exposed them to new ways of thinking. It was a time of great change and transformation, as Greece emerged from its isolation and became a major player on the world stage. Want to unravel more mysteries of the Archaic period? Subscribe to our channel for in-depth secrets of Greek colonization, analyze the evolution of philosophy, and examine the lasting impact of this era on Western civilization. Join us on this epic journey.